Welcome. This is Dollars to Deuces, a production of Toilets to Titles. I am your friendly neighborhood Frito Bandito. You can follow me at R Gonzalez RM. And as you can today see to my right, we got Joe Knows back to the show. He's just a regular part of the show now and everything. So
I
Joe, what's going on, man?
it's very good. It's very nice to be a special guest. Nate, if you're watching right now, you're fired. You did this to me twice this month. You're fired, my friend. Don't even bother coming back on the show. Now, listen, I'm happy to be here. Actually on vacation in Los Angeles with the family for Thanksgiving week, and I'm actually was going to do my show since I'm a few hours behind tonight. I was actually going to do my Wednesday night show after you guys. And I do want to apologize to viewers out there, to our subscribers who watch and who catches Cup of Joe Sunday morning. I was trying to do it that morning. I didn't work out. I was actually going to try to do it from the Rose Bowl, from outside the Rose Bowl, because I was actually staying in Pasadena for a few days.
Yep.
And we're 5 miles from the Rose Bowl. So I went down there and I was trying to do it from my phone. And didn't work out. I got like a minute and 20 seconds, and that was pretty much it. But
I was actually watching it live.
I was like, that would have been cool to do from the Rose Bowl, doing the recap of the college games, and then a quick preview of the NFL games for Sunday. It would have been cool, being in the spirit of things. But everything's going well, man. Everything's going well, and I'm happy to be here.
I was actually watching that show live, and all of a sudden it just kind of froze up, and I'm like, he got bad cell connection.
You know what? That's when I think it happened when I switched to ESPN to start going through the results of the game, because I was just doing it while I was walking around, and I didn't know that it wouldn't broadcast, I guess, at the same time, like I had to have YouTube up. So I'd never done it for my phone before. So I did the show for like 30 minutes, and then I get rid of my ESPN screen. I go back to YouTube, and I saw that it stopped recording or stopped broadcasting live, and I was like.
You went on for 30 minutes?
Yeah, I was on for 30
minutes. I was
minutes.
wondering how long you were gonna go.
I was hoping that
I should have texted
I couldn't have two screens up at the same time. I was hoping that it was recording while when I toggled away from the YouTube screen, but I guess it didn't. So live and learn. What are you gonna do? Like I said, it was the first time I tried to do it from my phone that way. So I thought it was cool to try to do from the Rose Bowl, but what are you gonna do? So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, let's just jump into the formalities. You can listen to us as always on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, also Toilets to Titles When a Family Breaks, and Spotify. If you like watching the show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, throw us an Apple Podcast, iTunes review, give us 5 stars. That would be nice, man. It really helps us out and everything. We also have our site going strong right now, toiletstotitles.com. Go on there, check out our articles and just everything we got on there. I mean, all our shows are on there, articles. We got a great group of guys. Joe, you got anything on there?
You know what? As of right now, just videos. I haven't done articles since really before the season started, before the NFL season started. I did a few articles. So been busier with doing the videos and the podcasts themselves. I'm more busier than I thought I would be. So I hasn't allowed really time for articles, but I intend to do more articles when the season's over. But we've got like 14 members here, 14 team members here at Toilets and Titles, and plenty of them are contributing great articles. And we've got, like Rich was saying, we've got, NFL and fantasy content on there. So check it out. It's great stuff. I'm really proud of that website of ours.
Yes. Also, you could go to patreon.com and join our group and everything. Toilets to Title, just go on there, type that in. You should be able to find us. We have 3 tiers. Tier 1 is $3 per month. You have team group chat. I mean, we go strong every day in that group chat with the members that we got in there and everything. So great conversations we have in there. We talk about our own fantasy football teams and everything, and then we help everybody else with teams. We discuss trades between each other and everything. So great content that we got on there. Tier 2 is $5 a month. Gives you early access to waiver wired episodes where Justin, he releases them Monday night after the Monday Night Football game. We all pitch in, throw in a few waiver wires to go after. This time of the season, though, it does get slim pickings and everything. So
yes, it does.
But, every once in a while, we get one of the players that prop in, and we all try to jump on him real quick. So we could be the first one to snatch him up and everything. So You also get an entry into our Frankenstein listener league. And once again, you will be part of the group chat. Tier 3, $10 a month, one-on-one roster analysis with my man right next to me, Joe Knows, or anybody within the group and everything.
Yeah,
We'll do whatever we can to
advice.
help you out and everything. So you also get a free entry into our Frankenstein listener league, where I believe me and Joe are doing pretty well in this league this year.
I was gonna, Rich. I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna say, I think Rich is. It's our a listener league, and it's our league. We are a pro thievery league. In that, if you beat your opponent that week, you can steal one player from their roster. Mm-hmm. And Rich, I believe you're 11-0.
11-0. I think I'm the only undefeated team.
Yeah,
I had to say that.
I listen, bragging rights. It's all cool. It's all cool. We're up to 3 divisions. I believe 12 teams each. And you're 11-0 in your division. I'm 10-1 in my division. And then the third division, I forgot who it is, but they're 10-1 as well. So
yeah, I don't want to jinx myself. The Total Titles team. Looks like we got someone over here in the group chat. Let's see who we got over here. We got Mr. Josie Jenkins. How much longer is this stream? Hey, we're gonna be on for another 30 minutes, guy. So hey, stay in. We're gonna be going over some of our picks and everything. So if you got any questions, go in and throw them out there for us.
Yeah, send them on in, Josie.
Is this for? Yeah, we will actually have some for tomorrow's slate and everything. I'm making it kind of a Thanksgiving theme. I will have a little bit from each game, not to mention some of it from the weekend's games too. So.
Yeah, and Josie, I'm going to be doing my own show afterwards too, where I'm going to be doing my own preview of the upcoming NFL games for the upcoming week, and I'm going to do a really quick abbreviated review of the past week's games as well. But I am after this. You gave me probably like a 15-minute break in between shows. Like 15 minutes after this show starts, I am going to do my own show where I'm going to do my own preview of the upcoming games for this week and my own picks as well.
Gotcha. So let's go ahead and hop into it and stuff like that. Let's keep our fans give them what they want and everything. Yeah. So first of all, we'll go ahead and start over my week 11 player prop results. It was a rough week for me last week, and I will say that and everything. So Macaroni Jones, I had over 1.5 passing TDs, as I missed that with only having one passing TD. Man, it was a great game. It was a great defensive game and everything, but just couldn't get that second passing TD.
In his, you know what, his passing percentages off the top of my head, I don't have the box score in front of me. I think it was really good. It was, probably like 20 for 24. I'm just making up a number, but I think it was good. I mean, and that's what Mac Jones has been a very efficient quarterback. Yeah. But the number of TDs can be a little spooky sometimes in terms of, he's not exactly like Tom Brady throwing up 4 touchdowns with like Antonio Brown and, and that, serious allotment of weapons that Brady has. But Mac Jones has been getting the job done overall. But yeah, I hear you. I hear your pain, man.
So one of my other misses, Saints Eagles. I went under on the total, under the 43 points. As they actually had a high scoring game compared to what I really thought they were going to output. It was a 69 total and everything. So great game and everything. I thought it was going to be a bigger of a defensive game and everything, but just didn't pan out that way.
I would have thought that too.
Colts Bills, I went under at 50.5. I hit on that. Well, actually, I think I missed on that because I went under and they went they scored 56 points. Yep. So yeah. I missed on that one right there too. So man, this isn't looking
rough.
Good this
you
week.
Said it was a rough week.
It was a rough week and everything. Rodgers and Cousins combined passing yards for 599.5. I took the under. Man, me and Nate were talking about this last week and everything, and it seemed like a high number, but when you break it down to QBs, it really wasn't. Yeah. And I started second guessing myself after I really thought about it. As you could see, both QBs went out and just threw that ball around like they were out in the backyard and everything. They went total 731 passing yards.
Yeah, and I guess it's not surprising. I didn't think of it at the time, but it's not surprising, I guess, when you think about it, especially in hindsight. I mean, Cousins he's got a heck of an offense too. He's got some really good weapons and Dalvin Cook, and so in hindsight, it's not a surprise.
Not to mention Justin Jefferson had a huge game in receiving. He was just tearing that defense up.
Yeah, and you know what? Which is kind of surprising too, because let's give the Packers defense credit. It's been really good this year.
My other miss was Jamar Chase. As I took the over on 75.5 receiving yards, thought that he'd probably do a little bit better against my Raiders and everything. But actually, he only had 3 catches for 32 yards. So we did one thing right, just we didn't do anything else right. So, hey, speaking of which, Joe, I'm going to have to blame this Raiders bad luck on you because ever since we played the Giants, I think we took some of your mojo.
Yeah. Oh man, you don't want to touch exactly. You don't want to be near the Giants. They're all types of ugly and bad right now. So you really don't want to be anywhere. I don't be surprised with the Buccaneers now if they lose by like 40 points to their next opponent. Being around the Giants is bad luck. Ask Jason Garrett.
Yep. And then my last hit that I'm very proud of was the Cowboys Chiefs. I took the under on 56.5 total points as they only scored 28 total combined points. Real low scoring affair and everything. Everybody thought going into this game it was going to be a high scoring game. I just
Absolutely.
both defenses are doing really well. Chiefs has come around and
Yeah.
they're showing that what, if the offense could get it together, kind of like the Raiders, both defenses are doing better now, but the offenses
Right.
are struggling and everything. So
Yeah, Chiefs defense has been playing better for the past few weeks, and if I'm the Cowboy, listen, the Cowboys defense played, I think pretty well overall, I guess.
mhm.
But I'd be a little concerned about the offense and Dak. I think that's like the second, not so great performance in a row, or like 2 out of the past 3 weeks, something like that. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't be too concerned. Don't get me wrong, but just a little concerned, just because they were mowing everyone down for the vast majority of the season. So.
So that was my results, not the best of weeks and everything. So why don't you go ahead and hop into Nate's results last week and then go
Yeah.
ahead and jump in to what he's going for this week.
You got it. So Nate's week 11 player props. He also had Mac Jones. He took the over 252 and a half passing yards. That was a miss because Mac Jones had 207 yards. He took he took Stevenson and Myers anytime TD. So that was, I guess, Ramondre Stevenson and Jacoby Myers anytime TD plus 362.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a miss. There was no TD. No
Yeah, the
TD
only
by
touchdown
either of
was
them.
to offensive line, was it not?
Was that? Well, I know the Giants.
Oh, that was
Andrew
the
Tom.
Giants game. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but who did have that? Was it? I'm wondering if it was the other running back. I'm trying to think, or was it Nelson Aguilar?
It was
Aguilar.
Aguilar. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
it was Aguilar. That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, I'm not getting my weeks missed. I've been traveling with vacation and everything, so it's not. Not everything's settled in my brain here, my memory. I'm getting things mixed up.
Yep.
So it was Aguilar. Okay, so in the next he had Washington football team, Panthers. He took the over, which was over 43,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a hit because it was a combined total of 48 points. For the Packers Vikings game, he took the over of 49 and a half, which is a hit because the total combined was 65. That was a score-a-rama. So they're lighting up the scoreboard in that game. And then finally, last but not least, he took the Cowboys and Chiefs. He took the over 56. That was a miss. The total, as you pointed out before, was 28, and I think that surprised all of us because myself, I do spreads, but I don't do overs. I don't do over under in that game or picking that game. I absolutely, without batting an eye, would have taken the over in that game as well. So, but it's funny how sometimes you get these, and quite often it seems like you get these games that are going to be high scoring games, and then wind up being defensive battles. Kind
Well,
of
what
funny.
happened was, I mean, here's how I would look at. Both teams had high scoring games the week before
Yeah.
and everything. So everybody thought, hey, you know what? They're both going to score. But it never fails when they have games like that. That
Yeah.
next week they always take a step back.
Yeah, something was going on. So, next I'll move into Nate's Week 12 player props. So
Yep.
these are Nate's player props for the upcoming week. That's starting tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, we got 3 games on Thanksgiving. I love that. Okay, the first one that Nate's taken is DeAndre Swift over 66.5 rushing yards. So again, he's taking DeAndre Swift over, getting over 66 and a half rushing yards. Number 2, Nate is taking Derek Carr getting over 263 and a half passing yards. He's taking for the Cowboys Raiders game, he's taking the under of 51 and a half. For the Packers Rams game, he's taking the over of 47. And for Bears Lions, he's taking the over of 41 and a half.
So he's doing a Thanksgiving special too, except for that Packers and Rams game. So
Yeah.
some great calls there and everything. I was really interested in that Derek Carr one too and everything. I'm just gonna kind of back off on betting on my man Carr for a little bit. But let's go ahead and jump into my player prop 12 for week 12. I'm actually taking Renfro over 52.5 receiving yards. Now, this kind of ties in with I play a
Mm.
little Madden and everything every once in a while. And this season, he's one every Thanksgiving. They always have these cards where if they outperform a certain percentage on what projected for that game, they get like a plus up in on their card and everything. So
Mhm.
he's one of the ones I picked through Madden. So I'm also going to go ahead and take him on going over 52.5 receiving yards.
I like that. I like that anyway, Rich, just because Renfro has been so solid. He's been so consistent. I mean,
Yes.
he's not like a Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams, but he's a consistent performer. And I think that's a good floor of 52 and a half receiving yards. I like that.
Yep. My next one is Josh Allen. I'm taking the over of 1.5 passing TDs.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
my
I
next
agree
my
with you.
next Thanksgiving bet, I'm taking the Lion Bears. I'm actually going under 41.5 points. Look, this is Thanksgiving. It seems like games are always low scoring games on Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
I mean, they got short time to come back from a game. I mean, heck, I think the Raiders and both of them are 2 games, like 2 days of practice and
Yeah.
everything. I'm
Yep.
surprised CeeDee Lamb is going to be. There's a chance he might be able to play, and I was really hoping he wouldn't be playing.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see about that. But I like that. You're taking the long. Yeah. I would take the under in that game. I'm with you, Rich. I would take the under in that game as well, too. It's not
My
like either team is lighting up the scoreboard anyway.
No, you're right. My next one, I missed on this last week, but I'm going to go back to the well with Jamar Chase. I am taking the over of 65.5 receiving yards. I
Yeah.
think he has a bounce back game this week where he could probably goes over 100 yards and everything.
He's been such a monster his rookie year that I can't see him having two quiet performances in a row either. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
And then my next game is going to come from the Rams game. And um, Josie over here in chat, he says Rams got established to run, same as the Bills. They do, but as we all know, Josh
Yeah.
Allen and the run game with their run, it just doesn't happen. They pass the ball more than anything.
Yeah, I'm with you, Josie. I'm with you, man. But I'm just not a buyer of that Bills rushing offense. And I wasn't coming into the season. I know quite few people were high on Zach Moss, and I just never bought into it, and I especially don't now. And I think that's something they need to do in the offseason too. Is whether it's draft or free agency, get a real like RB1 or just an improvement over Zach Moss,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But I agree
Uh,
with you, Josie.
but what I'm taking from this game is I am going with Van Jefferson over 3.5 receptions with Woods out and Odell still. He's still got to learn the offense and everything. It ain't gonna
Yeah,
happen within the past week and a half and everything. Van Jefferson had a great game last week. So
yeah.
I think he carries on that. I think he easily goes over 3.5 receptions. Rams need to really come out and show some dominance with the last 2 performances that they've had.
I would assume that's a safe bet. Listen, Rams are and they run the ball and they're as far as I know they're fairly balanced, but they're still ultimately a passing offense. And I would assume Van Jefferson, is even with Odell being there. I think over 3.5 receptions. I think that's a pretty good bet.
Josie, actually, I make my picks from DraftKings. Nate, he actually makes his picks from FanDuel. So we kind of both hit from different areas. So anytime you see my predictions, it will be from DraftKings, and Nate's are from FanDuel, which Joe's going over Nate's today.
Yeah, and Josie, just like Rich just pointed out, just which you probably know anyway, but these are Nate's picks, but Nate's not able to make the show today, so I'm just filling it for him.
Yep. And then my last one, I am taking the Ravens and Browns. I'm actually going over 46 points. A lot of times, every time they play, it's more of a low scoring game. But I
Yeah.
think Lamar's going to be coming back from being out last week and everything. I think he's going to
Yeah.
come out little fresh step, little fresh spring in his step and everything, and really have a great game with the Browns and everything. So,
Yeah, and do you know? I mean, Chubb is back.
yep.
He was back. Do you know if Kareem Hunt is back? I haven't checked.
I want to say I was reading earlier that he might be clear to play this week, that he should be coming back, but we'll see
Yeah,
as the week gets closer and
we'll
everything.
see. But if
So,
he's cleared, I mean, yeah, I think that 46 points is the over. I think that's pretty good. I like that, Rich.
and that is my player picks for the week. So let's go ahead and jump over into college pick'ems.
Let's do it. Am I leading off?
Yes, you're leading off on this one, sir.
Okay, so let's see. So week 12 for college pick'ems for Nate. Week 12, he took Michigan minus 14 and a half at Maryland. This was a hit. The final score was 59 to 18, so Michigan won by 41. And he also took in week 12, Nate took, it was Cincinnati. This also was a hit. It was Cincinnati minus 10 and a half versus Southern Methodist. And the final score in that game was 48 to 14, so they won by 34. So those were two big hits, big time. Two demolitions on the field. And want me to go into his week 13?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Nate's week 13 projections. This is what he's looking at here. For Cincinnati, he's taking Cincinnati. I know Nate is a huge Bearcat fan, and Rich and I recently established a few weeks ago, last time I did a guest appearance here, that a Bearcat is a real thing. Kind of like Bigfoot, it's a real thing. But I gotta believe it I believe it when I see it. Kind of like Bigfoot, but apparently it's a real thing. So Nate is a big Cincinnati fan. He has taken Cincinnati, given 14 and a half at East Carolina. I think that's a good bet too. I like that, Nate. And he's also taken Ohio State. Ooh, this is a good game. Ohio State giving 7.5 at Michigan. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. I do think me myself. I think, you know what? Stick with it. Stick with it. What Nate's saying. He's taking Ohio State giving 7.5 at Michigan. That's gonna be a really good game. I'm looking forward to. But I wouldn't be surprised. Like Nate is predicting, I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State eats Michigan's lunch like they normally do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you and this Bearcat thing is a theme for us now
I
because
love it.
the last 2 weeks I made sure that our memes for our podcast has you and a Bearcat in it the last 2 weeks. So,
I love it.
man, he's doing a great job, man.
I love it. God creates wonderful creatures.
All right, so let's go over my picks, my college pick'em. So, week 12 results. I had Oklahoma State minus 10 over Texas Tech as they won by 23. My loss was I picked Oregon plus 3 to Utah.
Yeah.
As man, Utah just came in and blew out Oregon.
You
I
know
wouldn't
what?
have expected this.
Oregon, you know what? I'm with you. Like, you wouldn't expect it, but you kind of expect it. At least I kind of expect it. Like, Oregon is just one of those teams that's known for these types of these disappointments, except for that one year when they went to the national championship game with Mariota as quarterback. Except for that one year, Oregon craps the bed. So don't lose to the Utes. Don't. But they did. They lost to the Utes. That hurt.
All right, so my week 13 picks. I am taking Fresno State 7.5, minus 7.5 over San Jose. I'm from Fresno. Went there, went to college games when David Carr was playing there.
Oh,
Got to
cool.
watch a few games when Derek Carr played and everything.
Yeah.
So Fresno State, they have a QB there, Jake Hayner.
Huh.
Great
Okay.
QB. I'm interested to see if he transitions over to NFL and everything, but a great QB.
And
So
again, that's Jake Haynard.
Jake Hayner, yep.
Okay.
So great quarterback, but like I said, I'm taking Fresno State minus 7.5 over San Jose. And then my second one, I'm keeping it in state here in Oklahoma where I live now. I am taking Oklahoma State minus 4.5 over the Sooners. Go Pokes, baby. Let's do this.
And how the tables have turned, how
Yes.
how the table turns, uh, how the turntables. The Oklahoma State, it was the Sooners who were ranked like number 3, or even I think they were ranked as high as 3. For like first half of the season, or at least a good part of the early part of the season. And it was Oklahoma State that was steadily moving up the rankings, steadily. And here we are, and I agree with you. I think Oklahoma State's looking like the better team, probably.
Yeah, I went to a game, went and watched the OK State game about 2 weeks ago when they played
Yeah,
against Kansas. It was a blowout, man. They
yeah. I
looked
remember you
real
saying.
good and everything. So,
Yeah, I remember you saying you were going to that game. That's awesome.
all right, so let's jump into our parlays. So, I am not going to be doing any parlays this week as I went through on DraftKings and looked at all their parlays. Nothing really piqued my interest and stuff. And I don't want to go out there and throw a parlay out there that I'm not 100% confident in everything. So I'm skipping parlays this week, but I will go over my parlay last week as I actually had 2 parlays last week. My first one, I missed one game out of the parlay and everything, and that was it was Pats minus 7, which that was a hit. Cards minus 2.5, which was a hit. Indy plus 7, which was a hit. but my miss was the Cowgirls plus 2.5. They missed a
Yeah.
parlay for me on that as the Chiefs kind of handled them down, and they didn't score a single TD in that game.
I know. I know. Amazing. Amazing.
And then my
That was a
second parlay
wild
that I
game.
did last week was Pats and Falcons to under 44. I hit as they only scored 25. I also
Mhm.
took the Cards and the Hawks under 48 as I hit on that as 36. But the two games that I thought were going to go over both missed as they both went under and everything. As the Dolphin and Jets, that I went over on the 44.5.
Yeah.
Missed it. I mean, they scored 41 points. I mean, if someone would have got another touchdown, that would have kind of swung a little bit my ways. But the Bengals and Raiders game, I took the over on that 49.5. Barely missed that one by 45. So real close on getting those, but just didn't pan out for me last week.
Gotcha. And no parlay this week, right? You
Yeah,
didn't
no
like anything you
parlays
saw.
this week,
Another
and I
year you
think
weren't comfortable. But Nate had his NFL teaser
no,
for
he's
week
skipping the
11.
teaser this week too. But go ahead and go over his results.
Yep. Gotcha. So Nate for his teaser took, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm reading this off wrong. Patriots, Browns, 49ers, Bills, Panthers, Ravens, Packers, Bengals, Cowboys, Chargers, and he missed because of the lousy Buffalo Bills.
Yep,
That was it. That
that
was
was
it.
it.
Although everything else was right, but it doesn't matter
Got to hit them all.
because
Got to hit them all.
Buffalo stunk it up.
Survivor pool. Let's jump into our survivor pool before we pick into our pick'ems for the week.
Mhm.
So last week I hit as the Pats beat the Falcons. This week I am taking the Panthers over the Dolphins.
Yep. And for Nate, last week he took, for week 11, he took San Francisco over Jacksonville. That was a hit. And for week 12, he's taking the Eagles over my lousy Giants, which I don't blame him at all.
Real quick, let's go ahead. Josie, he's posted on here. Hey man, DK has a risk-free same-game parlay. Under over to $25. Lose gets the 25 back. May as well do the free. You know what? I might do that now that you say that and everything,
No, thanks
Josie.
for the
So I
heads.
appreciate giving me the heads up on that.
Yeah, thanks
Might
for the
go
heads up,
back in there,
Josie.
but what they got listed though is some. He said get it back. I'm gonna try to get it back. I might hop in there and go ahead and jump on one. So let's go ahead and jump in. Oh, give me a Nate Survivor pool results.
Nate's Survivor Pool. Let's see. Teaser.
Right under my Survivor pool where it says Nate's picks.
Let's see. Let's see. Well, I'm not.
I'll go ahead and read it.
Why don't you go ahead and read yours, and then I'm just looking for it in the doc.
So Nate, I'm gonna just go over Nate's real
Go
quick.
ahead, go over it.
I got it right here. So Nate's last week he hit as he took San Fran over Jacksonville, and this week he has taken the Eagles over your team, the Giants. Joe.
Oh yeah, no, I think I went over that. Right, no, his picks. Oh, that was I'm sorry. Okay,
His Survivor pool.
That was a Survivor pool.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry. So, which that everyone I said was teaser. I apologize. It was Survivor pool. Yeah. So exactly like you said, last week he won. He took San Fran over Jacksonville, and this upcoming week he's taking the Eagles over the Giants. Sorry about that.
No worries. So let's go ahead and jump into this week's pick'ems. I am going to go ahead and go over my picks for the my results from last week. Then I'll jump straight into what I'm picking this week, and then we'll finish up with Nate's.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
last week I picked Pats over the Falcons -7 as I hit as they scored 25. Eagles -2 over the Saints. I hit on that as they scored by 11. Panthers -3.5 over Washington. I missed as Washington ended up beating them by 6 points. Browns -11 over the Lions. Thought this was going to be a bigger blowout than what ended up happening as the Lions kept it a close game. And one reason why I'm going to probably pick them this week too, but I missed as they only kept it within 3 points of the game. So
yeah.
Raiders +1 to the Bengals. I thought this was going to be a better game. Looks like my team's falling apart. Mid-season collapse like the past 2 years, but I'm hoping we could change it around everything. It just I want to see something different. Carr looked beat up after that game. I mean, when the press conference and everything, you could tell he was just beat down and everything over this loss and everything. So,
yeah, he needs to shake out of that. They need to recharge. Just get back off the mat and just get back to work like they were doing the first like four or 5 weeks.
My other hit was Cardinals minus 2.5 over the Seahawks as they won by 10. And then I missed on the Chiefs. I mean, on the Cowboys plus 2.5 to the Chiefs as the Chiefs end up winning by 10.
Gotcha.
My results for what I'm going with this week. I am going back to the well and everything. I'm going to keep on doing it until it burns a hole in my pocket. Raiders plus 7.5 to the Cowboys.
That is
I
fandom.
it is, but it
No.
seems like when I pick my Raiders at plus, it
Uh,
tends to pan out and everything. So, except for last week, that plus one. So,
yeah, and Cowboys have been slipping for the past few weeks too themselves.
I'm hoping Lamb doesn't play and makes this a more interesting game. So Cooper's going to be out, so that's another thing that's kind of making me pick this way. I'm also taking the Lions plus 2.5 over the Bears. I think this is going to be the week that the Lions get their first win. Bills minus 6.5 over the Saints. Texans minus 2.5 over the Jets. And my final pick for the week is Carolina minus 2 over the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like that pick too. I mean, it just I mean, I like a lot of your picks. I just want to call out the Lions that I'm hoping that they do get their first win of the season. I don't want to see them go winless.
Yeah.
And like I've said in the past, they are probably the best winless team that I've ever seen. At least this winless this far into the season. So, but this could definitely be the game where they get their first win. So, I'm pulling for the Lions in that game. All right, so I'll go over uh, Nate's Week 11
Results, yep.
pick'ems, his results, and let's see, he had 2 hits and unfortunately 4 misses. So his hits. Let's start off with the Patriots, given 7 at the Falcons, and that was a big hit. Final score was 25-0 as the Pats completely dominated that game. The Pats are, as we all know, Pats are rolling. They're looking really, really strong. And they're making a push now for that NFC East division lead too. They're not there yet, but I don't necessarily think they're going to get there. But they're starting to breathe down the Bills next there. And he also hit on the Niners. It was Niners giving 6.5 at the Jaguars. That was a hit as the Niners also dominated the Jaguars. Final score of that game was 30-10. The misses. He took the Ravens giving 5.5 at the Bears. The Ravens did win that game. It was a miss, but the Ravens did win that game 16-13, but it was a miss, I should say. Packers minus 2.5 at the Vikings. That was a miss because the Vikings won 34-31. I actually called that upset last week. I just want to use some bragging rights for old Joe. And Cowboys, he took the Cowboys giving 2.5 to the Chiefs. That was a miss as Kansas City, beat Dallas 19-9. That surprised me. That one caught me by surprise there. And the final one was a miss as well. It was the Chargers giving 5.5 to the Steelers. LA did hold on to win this game. It was 41-37 in the shootout. But again, it was, in that final one, it was Chargers were giving 5.5 to the Steelers. But the Chargers did win, but by less than 5.5. Now, Nate's Week 12 pick'ems. He's taking the Lions +3 versus the Bears. He's taken the Cowboys giving 7.5 versus the Raiders. He's taken the Patriots giving 6.5 versus the Titans. He's taken the Eagles giving 3.5 at the Giants, and he's taken the Bengals giving 4.5 versus the Steelers. And I'm sorry, and one last one. Yep. He's taken the Chargers giving 2.5 at the Broncos. So that's Nate's Week 12 pick'ems.
So that is what we got for the show today. You got anything about any of these picks that you'd like to talk about?
You know what, Nate's picks in particular. Let me see there. I do like him. I mean, like I said, Lions. I'll take the Lions there with that one. I like I'll take the Lions giving 3.5 to the Bears. Cowboys 7.5 to the Raiders. You know what? I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I mean, I agree with you. I think it depends on whether or not, because if Cooper's not playing, it depends on CeeDee Lamb. If he's not playing, it's going to be, I'll go with the Raiders. If CeeDee Lamb's not playing, I'll take the Raiders as well. Patriots 6.5 to the Patriots are giving 6.5 to the Titans. Damn me, I gotta go with the Titans getting 6.5. I gotta go with the Titans getting 6.5. They've done very well. I know they lost last week, but they've done well so far without Derrick Henry. I myself question how long that can actually last because they're such a Henry-centric offense. But I think the Titans defense overall has been playing well. Man, I'll take the Titans getting 6.5 points. Eagles giving 3.5 to the Giants. You know what? I'm going to take the Giants in that, getting 3.5. I think this is going to be. I don't think the Giants are going to be like putting up 40 points a game, but I just have a feeling that this the firing of Garrett just might spark things. So
I was
and
going to
it
ask
might.
you, what was your take on that?
You know what? I felt bad for. It was the right move. I felt bad for Jason Garrett because he's not the only one at fault here.
Hmm.
People say he's a fall guy. I don't know if I'd use that word. I think he's part of the problem. Maybe he's not the only fall guy, but he's part of the problem. But I think it was time. But I mean, ultimately, listen. I think this is the type of offense that Joe Judge wanted to run, and Jason Garrett was scheming within what he wanted. But I also there plenty of plays, and yeah, you can blame Daniel Jones, the quarterback. It's definitely that was a horrible game he had just last week alone, and he's had other bad plays and other bad games. But when you see like plays not going, to players like Galladay or Tony or some of the other wide receivers. Like there were plays where they sent out basically like their number 6 and number 7 wide receiver on like a 4th and 1 play. It like stuff like that, crap like that just didn't make sense, Rich. It didn't make sense, and it didn't make sense for a long time. Didn't make sense last year, and especially didn't make sense this year. That we can talk all day long about crappy offensive line. It still doesn't matter. It's still stuff did not make sense,
Yeah.
and I don't get it. So I'm glad
Do you
that
like Kitchens?
I have no opinion on Kitchens, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I really have no opinion on Kitchens. Like I have no idea. Just all I want to see is I want to see competence. That's all. They don't have to put up 40 points a game, but I want to see competence. That's it. And then Bengals versus the Bengals 4.5 versus Steelers. Steelers are kind of beat up. Man, but it's in Cincinnati. I'd have to wait to see. Steelers are beat up. I'll take the Bengals given 4.5 points. And the Chargers. So I agree with Nate. And then the Chargers give them 2.5 to the Broncos. Yeah, I'll go with the Chargers. Give them 2.5 to the Broncos. I agree with that pick as well.
All right. So Josie in the chat. Before we go, favorite player at each position for tomorrow. Who you like out of all the QBs for tomorrow?
Oh my God. Well, who do you like?
I like
Go
Josh
ahead.
Allen. I'm gonna have to go with Josh Allen.
I got Dak. I'm going with Goff. Goff is my favorite quarterback tomorrow. All right, I'm joking. Yeah, You know what? I
You
guess
mean
I
his
have to
backup?
go. Yeah. No, let's see. Dak. All right, I'll go with Josh Allen tomorrow as well. I am expecting a big. Even regardless of CD Lamb being there, I don't know. I'm expecting a big bounce back game from Dak Prescott. I am, but I'll go with Josh Allen because I think it's the safest.
I think the Cowboys run a lot. I think they'd really
Yeah,
try to establish a
you're
running
right.
game and everything, and I think it's
You're
going to
right.
be Zeke and Pollard game and everything more than anything. That's why I like Josh Allen.
Makes
Look, the running
sense.
game ain't there for the Bills and everything. He runs more than anything,
Yeah.
and they are a passing team. I hate saying that, but that's what they do.
But they are a passing team. That's their strength. Their strength is for the Bills. Their strength is passing, and Josh Allen's ability to run the ball well. And
Running
get
back.
yeah.
Who are you taking running back tomorrow? Of all the teams,
Zeke.
Zeke. Okay, I am going Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Swift has had a solid 2 weeks again. Play the last
Yeah.
two. Look, he's getting tons of touches and everything. His average might not be the best. They feed him the ball again tomorrow for Thanksgiving, being a short
Yeah.
week. I think he's going to have another great game.
Yeah. No. He's been having a great year, but I do have to go with Zeke just for what you pointed out before, though. Listen, it's like the Bears defense is beat up too, and they don't have Khalil Mack. I believe Khalil Mack is out for the season. I believe now, right? Yeah.
I haven't
So
heard that yet. Is that true?
I thought I heard it wasn't definitive. I
Okay.
saw earlier this week that he might be out for the season, but he's obviously out for a while. And that's going to hurt the Bears defense. And the defense is what has been keeping them in games for most of the season. But I'm gonna go with Zeke having a monster game.
Here's the reason why I don't. Here's the reason why I like Swift over Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke has competition with Pollard. He was a
Mm-hmm.
little banged up last week.
Yeah.
Swift doesn't have no competition right now. It's all his backfield. That's the reason
Yeah.
why I like Swift a little bit better.
Yeah.
Receiver, what receiver you picking tomorrow?
I think it's Diggs.
Diggs?
Mm-hmm.
Josie in the comment, he goes, I almost crapped my pants when you said golf.
I was only 51% serious, Josie. All right. No, it would never be golf. That's nothing against golf.
No, I got you.
He's a nice
I
guy.
think
He's a nice guy.
I am gonna take a leap of faith here and go outside the box, and
Mm-hmm.
I am gonna back my pick from earlier. I am going Renfro having a huge game tomorrow for Thanksgiving, tons of targets,
Yeah.
and I think he's just gonna be a benefit of tomorrow's game and everything. Now
Yeah.
I know Dallas's D is real good as far as their cornerbacks and stuff like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I think they're gonna do everything to lock down Waller.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care who it is. Renfro creates routes
Yeah, he
when
does.
why he's running and everything, and it's hard to
He
cover him. He just
he
shifty.
kind of reminds me of Sterling Shepard. He's like a savvy route runner. He knows how to get open. He's a savvy route runner, and he knows how to get to those open spaces in zone coverage as well. Renfro he's a savvy guy. I like Renfro.
Tight end. Who you picking?
Ooh, you know what? I'm not taking Waller because Waller. If I'm any defense, their number one focus should be Waller. Waller had a good game last week, but that's just a credit to Waller, and also credit to I think just the pointing out that the Raiders, much as like Renfro, I don't think they have a real WR1. It's like Giants, their best receiver really so far is really like Sterling Shepard, or is really WR2, but God, receiver. I'm sorry, tight end.
Tight end.
You know what? Oh man, I think it's going to be maybe one of the Dallas tight ends.
What about Hawkinson? I like Hawkinson tomorrow.
I don't like I haven't liked Hawkinson all year. He hasn't been having a good year.
He hasn't, but it's Thanksgiving. Detroit Lions always have a great. They tend to show up and everything, and I feel Hawkinson's going to have a great game tomorrow.
When they had Stafford, yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
And I like Hawkinson, but you know what? If I'm playing the Lions, who am I focusing on? I'm focusing on shutting down. Same thing with the Raiders. I'm focusing on shutting down Hawkinson because he probably is their best threat.
Another one is Schultz.
Until that is actually my pick for tomorrow is Schultz.
Schultz, okay. Josie. I like Waller. Look, he's my man and everything, but I think Dallas tries to cover him up because Josie. He actually put his picks up. He likes Allen, Zeke, Gallup, and Waller.
Yeah, let's see. Allen, Zeke, Gallup, and I'll tell you, Gallup could be a really good pick, Josie. That could be a really good pick. I'm gonna have. I like that pick too. But I'll stick with my pick. But Waller, listen, Waller could do it, but I think I have to go with Schultz.
All right, Josie, I appreciate you being active in the chat and making this an interesting show
Josie.
for us, throwing that last question in. But let's go ahead and close up shop for the night. You still got to do another episode and everything. So Josie, come back and check out Joe. He's fixing to set up for his next episode right after this. Once again,
give me 30 minutes.
Gotcha. Joe, once again, man, appreciate you coming on and filling in for Nate. Last minute, Nate got called into work and everything. So hopefully he should be back. Everybody out there in the fantasy world, Twitter, YouTube, Josie, man, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Make sure you eat plenty of turkey and ham. And that will be this episode of Dollars to Deuces.
Everyone, make sure you double dip on that turkey and ham and the stuffing and the cranberries and the pecan pie and the pumpkin pie and the apple pie, all of it. It's all great stuff. Then take a big nap and go back for thirds.
And fourth.
Yes, and fourth.
Y'all
and
have
then
a
for
great
breakfast
week.
Tomorrow.
And let's watch some Thanksgiving football.
Yeah, I love it. Rich, take care. Everyone have a great